Hello everybody and welcome to a very special edition of Goodison Park, my home. We started with Kevin Ratcliffe, Everton's most successful captain. We've come full circle. We're actually inside the grand old lady herself. Thank you, Seamus Coleman, for joining us today. Seamus, it's a great honour to have you. I'm sure you've got many terrific memories about playing here at Goodison Park.
Yeah, I do. Listen, it's a special place, and you mentioned Kevin there before me, and yeah, so many legends and so many historic nights here long before I came to Everton, and I've got some amazing memories of playing here as well. Maybe not to that extent, but yeah, listen, it's been an amazing time, amazing journey, amazing stadium, and we'll miss it.
Yeah, I mean, starting out yourself in Killybegs in the west of Ireland, I mean, as a young boy growing up playing the game, did you ever dream of playing in an arena like this?
It was a million miles away. I think every young kid wants to play in the Premier League, and yeah, it was a dream, and thankfully through hard work and determination and wanting it so badly, I got to sign for an amazing Premier League club, a historic Premier League club, a successful team in England, and yeah, it's been my home from home for since I signed.
Yeah, and obviously David Moyes back now. He was the manager who first brought you to the club. I mean, what was he like when you came in, and how has he changed, if I can ask you that as well?
Yeah, he's changed, or I've changed. Maybe we both changed. Obviously, he was a manager that I respected so much. He was a tough operator, and he's moved on. I've stayed, and he's come back, and yeah, he's mellowed, but he's still the boss, believe me.
Yeah.
When he needs to show you, he's still the boss. Yeah. But it's great to have him back.
Yeah. What was he like learning from him as a young player? I guess it would be fair to say raw coming in from Ireland, and obviously he had this loan spell at Blackpool as well. I mean, what kind of a mentor was he for as a young player coming through at Everton?
Yeah, I think I can. You have it in you anyway in terms of your self-belief, your determination, your will to train well. I always had that, or else I would never even got on the plane to make it over here. But I was very lucky that he was my first manager in England, and he was tough. He expected things from players. He expected you to work hard. He was tough on you when you didn't do well. He would tell you, but that's my character. I wanted that, and I needed that, and I have to thank him for kind of maybe toughening me up and getting me ready for what was ahead in my career, and he's played a massive part in that, and he's back now, and he's still that same respect for him as you always did,
Yeah, that was a round of applause for David there, but obviously it was a baptism of fire for you and your debut out of position, Benfica away. I mean, how was that? But then obviously the home debut was able to make a real contribution here at Goodison, the assist and then the part in the second goal as well.
Yeah, listen, it was surreal that I'd not long came over from Ireland and finding my feet and had a bad injury in pre-season, and I think we're down to bare bones for that game in Benfica. A lot of injuries, and I never played left back before, but played left back in the night, and they were an unbelievable team, that Benfica team, and it was as you said, a baptism of fire, but again got me ready for what was ahead. It's a career of ups and downs, and it's how you handle the downs, and that night was tough. Coming back on the flight was tough, and I always mention Steve Round, who was assistant manager at the time, and he came to me in the airport and he said, keep your head up, you have better nights ahead, which was maybe to him was nothing at the time, but to me was everything. And a few weeks later then flips on its head. So that's what I mean, it's a roller coaster. Playing this long, it's ups and downs, and as Leighton Bain said to me many years ago, it's about just trying to find that balance of not getting too high or not getting too low. And I picked up as many snippets of information and advice as I could over the years and tried to use it.
Do you remember much about that home debut and coming on, setting the goal up for Louis, and obviously playing a part in the equaliser?
Yeah, I was very fortunate to get my chance. I didn't know if I would get another chance after the Benfica game, to be honest, and I was very fortunate, but I kind of felt I needed to do something in that game, which sounds ridiculous, only 2 games in, but I felt I needed to do something, I needed to show something, I needed to show what I was about, and I got the chance to do that. And yeah, it was a memory that'll never leave me, and it was a nice way. I'm sure plenty of people make debuts that no one remembers, but a lot of Evertonians seem to remember me coming on here that night.
And obviously very different than Tony Hibbert had gone before you. He was a great stalwart of the club. He was obviously memorable for never scoring a goal. You kind of revolutionised that position, but it was part of a growing trend within the game, the way that fullbacks were changing and evolving in that respect.
Yeah, listen, I'll speak about Tony for a second, because Tony Hibbert was incredible with me, an incredible defender, tough as anything, and he could deliver across. And I looked up to these lads when I came over. Like, I took as much as I could from them. Tony Hibbert, Phil Neville, Leighton Baines. I just looked at them and just wanted to get to their level, wanted to get as good as I could. And yeah, whether the game changed or not, that was my style at Sligo, was like bombing on and getting forward. And I scored a few goals, and Roberto Martinez kind of wanted the fullbacks getting in at the back post and stuff. So I had the legs, I was fit, and I was fit to get in at the back stick. And for me to score so many goals, as a fullback from open play, I'm very fortunate to have done that.
You mentioned obviously Roberto, that first season, 7 in all comps, 6 in the Premier League, and was that the year you were in the Premier League team of the season as well, Everton Player of the Season? How do you think you were actually taking on your game at that time? Like you say, Roberto's style actually suited you in that respect?
Yeah, it suited me for sure. I was fit as anything, and I could dribble, I could go past people for a fullback. Probably not something that you see fullbacks doing, but I was confident to dribble past people, and I was just confident. I was at a good age, and things were really going well for me. And thanks to the maybe way Roberto played with 2 hold midfielders with Gareth Barry and James McCarthy, who covered for the attacking fullbacks, and it was just freedom, I suppose. Yeah,
I mean, it was a credible season. I think the club's highest ever Premier League points haul. I mean, we were disappointed though at the time, missing out because obviously you're not getting the Champions League.
Yeah, it was very disappointing. The few games here we played Arsenal, where we thought, right, this is it. We won, and there's a few disappointing ones after. I think Southampton away. I think there's another game at home maybe as well.
Maybe the Crystal Palace one at the end. Yeah,
then that was actually rearranged, that Palace game. If we'd have got it at the time, maybe it would have been different. But yeah, listen, it was a very successful points total. But yeah, the Champions League was the one we wanted that year.
Yeah. And then obviously the disappointment with the injury on an international duty. But I remember it that you got the 5-year contract while we were out. That was all arranged with the late chairman as well. I mean, able to tell me about that, how frustrating that was, but what a boost that was to get the backing from the club in that respect.
Well, yeah, listen, people talk about my loyalty, and this club has been very loyal to me. Took a chance on me as a young lad, took me over, looked after me, and I'd arranged or pretty much agreed to a 5-year contract before going away with Ireland. And as a young lad, you're probably thinking things might change, mightn't be there, whatever. We might see how he recovers. But Bill rang me and just told me that, listen, nothing will change. That this contract will be here for you when you come back. And yeah, that was a massive sign of loyalty and respect. And I'd like to think that I've done my bit to repay that as well.
Yeah, I think if you remember your first night back against Leicester City, that incredible lung-busting run you did at the end of the game, did that feel good that you were able to show everybody, yeah, I'm back?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was amazing to get back. That night was incredible to get back, and I enjoyed getting back. Wanted to show people how fit I still was, but like everything after a long injury, you put so much into the first few games. You hit a bit of a brick wall, you get tired after a few games, but just to get back on the pitch here, and again, the reception I got that night from the fans was incredible.
Does it give you that extra edge? It's a cliche, but does it make you able to run those extra few yards? Yeah.
This place, when it's behind you, when you can hear it and you can feel it, definitely gives you the energy to do that a little bit more.
Yeah, and in 2019 with Phil Jagielka moving on, great accolade for you to take on the club captaincy, something you've had ever since now. Yeah,
something I've had. A lot of helping hand in between that from many people. Bainesy to begin with, Jordan, Tarky, Drissa, there's been so many that have helped me in that regard, and but yeah, massive honour for myself, and yeah, carried a heavy load at times over the last 2 or 3 years for sure, but ultimately you just keep going, and the biggest aim and for us all recently was to get into that new stadium as a Premier League club, and we can say we've done that now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned that obviously with the Crystal Palace game when Frank Lampard was here. I mean, how did you actually feel when he was telling them that you were the best man he'd ever met? I guess might be a bit embarrassing in some respects, but it was a great accolade to come from him.
Listen, Frank Lampard was a a great man to begin with, and he cared about Everton Football Club, and he done his best for the football club, and it's been a hard job to get right over the last few years, but it wasn't for the lack of trying. And that night, he gave us a great night, and we're all very emotional after the game, and I really appreciate his words. But again, he will have just seen from me someone who was trying in the background to help him as best I could.
Yeah, and we've mentioned already there's been your fair share of goals from you over the years. I mean, do you have a favourite one that you're able to? I mean, can I ask you about that Leeds one a couple of years ago? I mean, you definitely meant it, though.
I did, of
course.
I did. Yeah. I'm actually surprised some people still ask that question. There was no one in the box, and but as I said, I'd done an interview earlier, and the most important thing was the ball at the back of the net that day, whether I meant it or not, because it was a massive 3 points for us against Leeds in that moment we were in. But that was probably my most important goal. I think my favourite goal here would have been the Southampton at home, would have been my favourite in terms of kind of all-round quality, but that was the most important.
I know it wasn't a Goodison, because I was just asking about the celebration at Swansea that time. I mean, what was that all actually about?
Yeah, I think I listen. The fans know me at this stage. I'm all in. I'm everything. I think I was getting some stick that night. I think.
Okay.
I tried to cross a few balls before. I could hear the groans and that, so I thought I'm just gonna hit this one, and I hit it, and yeah, it was just elation, frustration, everything that could. Listen, I'm passionate. I care about what I do, and I think that's why the fans appreciate me, because they see someone who gives it their all at all times, and that's something I do even in my goal celebrations.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you're getting to obviously this stage of your career now, and you're thinking about obviously the stadium move, what do you think you actually look back on in Goodison? What will you miss? I've heard you say you think you miss everything about Goodison. What is it that actually makes it special? Yeah,
I think the people, but obviously the people are gonna be at the new stadium as well, which is important. But I just miss. Just look around, it's been home for the last 16 years, so when I say I miss everything, I'll miss everything. Yeah. The drive in, the routines, everything that comes with it, and just the atmosphere, the noise when a goal goes in, an important goal, and I'm sure I know we'll get that, because the fans are the fans, and they're going to make noise wherever they go, so we will get that. So I'll just miss everything, to be honest, and as I said, I'm just glad, we're moving on as a Premier League club.
Yeah, I mean, everyone thinks that their particular ground is special, but for non-Evertonians, I mean, you're able to explain to them what actually makes it every unique history, isn't it? But like you say, it's the people who are here in the stands as well.
Yeah, it's the people, it's the history, it's the nights that came before us as well, like not so much just our time, it's more so the amazing nights that have been here, the goals that have been scored on that pitch, the tackles that have been made, the calibre of players that have been out there at different times, different generations as well. So yeah, so many people, so many memories have come in here, and I think it's just the whole thing. And listen, Scousers are a passionate bunch, and it's hard to explain what it's like here in a match day. It's electric, it's passion, it's noisy, it's angry, it's a bit of everything.
Yeah. And in terms of, obviously, you've broken Tim Howard's Premier League appearance record now, you're ahead of him in that respect. I think you only need about another 7 games for you to actually break into the club's all-time top 10. Leon Osman and Dixie Dean are both tied on 4-3-3. Is it something that enters your thoughts when you're looking about the future?
No, it's not something that I am looking towards. It's more so. It's very proud and humbling to have Everton's Premier League appearance record. That's amazing. Let's not forget there was a time before the Premier League as well, and we're a long way from the likes of Neville and people like that. Yeah. But listen, for myself growing up in Killybegs, and this all being a distant dream to hold the record of Premier League appearances is amazing. But I'm sure Jordan Pickford will be catching up that soon.
Yeah, and of course the new stadium itself. Have you had a chance to see much of it?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's really, really amazing, and a lot of good work has gone into it, and it's going to be great for the city as well. But like I said, we're going to be bringing our supporters with us, so it's going to be amazing. The noise, everything that comes with it, it's going to be electric. And as good and all as the history has been here, and the amazing times this football club has had in the 80s, especially them amazing teams, it's time for the football club now to look forward. New owners, new ambitions, and you have to reach for the stars, or else you're just surviving. So it's an exciting time for the football club, and we have to reach and hope for a better future now.
Yeah, and just finally from me, obviously when Carlo was here, he said you could play to your 40. I mean, you're going to be 37 later this year. You've not played a lot of games this season. I mean, how are you actually feeling yourself in that respect?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've had a kind of difficult season in terms of injuries, but listen, you know, I put a lot into what I do, you know, physically and emotionally as an Everton player over the last few years, and you know, I'm not in many ways. It's not just been, you know, playing pressure. It's been trying to galvanise people at all times. So it's been a tough year physically, but as I said, the most important thing for this football club was to get to the Premier League, to get to the new stadium as a Premier League club, and that's ticked off. And you know, the club can look to a brighter future, please God.
Yeah, thank you, Seamus. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank
Cheers.
you.